The Forgotten Hour. The town of Ravenshade had a secret, a missing hour that no one remembered. Every night, at exactly 2:13 a.m., the world went silent. Clocks stopped. The wind ceased. Candles flickered out, and even the moon seemed to freeze in the sky. People would go to bed and wake up, never realizing an entire hour had vanished from their lives. It had been this way for centuries, and no one questioned it. No one except Elias Holloway. Elias was a historian, obsessed with lost time and forgotten things. He had heard whispers from old men at the tavern, half drunk and murmuring about the hour that never was. His grandmother had warned him as a child, never stay awake past 2. The lost hour is not for the living. But Elias needed answers. He spent months gathering records, reading old diaries, and searching for anything that mentioned this missing time. His research led him to one name, the Bellkeeper. According to legend, the Bellkeeper was a shadowy figure who wandered Ravenshade during the lost hour, ringing an ancient bell. No one had ever seen his face, but those who heard his bell claimed they felt their memories slipping away, as if something was being erased. Elias made his decision. He would stay awake and witness the lost hour for himself. The night of the forgotten. On the night of the autumn equinox, Elias sat in his study, a clock ticking loudly beside him. 2:12 a.m. His heart pounded. Then the second hand stopped. Everything went still. The air felt thick, pressing down on him. His candle went out. Though there was no wind, the room was drenched in darkness. And then he heard it. Ding! A deep, resonant bell echoed through the streets. Ding! Elias stood, moving to the window. Outside, Ravenshade was different. Buildings looked older, as if centuries had passed in an instant. The cobblestone streets were cracked, covered in creeping vines. A dense fog rolled in, swallowing the town whole. From the mist, a tall figure emerged. He was cloaked in tattered robes, his face hidden beneath a deep hood. In his skeletal hands, he held a rusted bell, swinging it slowly. Elias felt a pull in his mind, a force trying to strip away his thoughts, his memories, his very existence. He fought against it, gripping the windowsill, forcing himself to remember, to hold on to time. The bellkeeper turned his head, as if sensing Elias's defiance. A hollow voice whispered through the silence, "You do not belong here." Elias's body felt heavy, his vision blurring. But before he could succumb, he whispered back, "Neither do you." The bellkeeper hesitated. For the first time, something changed. The mist wavered. The bell cracked. A new sound rang through the air, a clock ticking. The lost hour was breaking. With a deafening clang, the bell shattered. The bellkeeper let out an unearthly shriek as he dissolved into dust. The world trembled, and Elias was thrown backward, the return to time. He woke up on the floor of his study. The clock ticked normally. The candle was burning again. The air was warm, alive. Elias looked outside. Ravenshade was as it had always been, but something felt different. The night was no longer still. The wind blew. The moon moved. The lost hour had ended. People in town started waking with strange dreams, dreams of a figure in the fog, of bells and shadows. The missing hour was gone, and yet it had never existed at all. And in the ruins beneath Ravenshade, where time itself had been stolen, only one thing remained, a broken bell, rusted and silent, forever.